My father is a pharmacist, and pharmacy has been ingrained in my family for a long time. I was born in Cairo, Egypt. I remember living there in a very small apartment in the Nile Delta, in a very small community. My dad actually owned the pharmacy right underneath our building, so my dad was always back and forth upstairs and downstairs. When my dad first decided to come to Canada by himself in order to start a life for me and my mom and my brother, he was getting trained in the Canadian pharmacy for free, but he was also doing 2 part-time jobs to try to pay off the rent so we can have a place to stay when he brings us over from Egypt. He's really a great example for me, and this is where I really learned that work ethic. And if your father is a pharmacy owner, of course he wants you to be a pharmacist. And it's not really, when you're a teenager, it's not the first thing that you're saying, yes, that's what I'm going to do. But as a high school student, I was able to participate in a clinical study, and I was actually organizing and preparing the doses for a small study related to the labor unit in the hospital, and it was all in the pharmacy team. I think that exposure for me with the pharmacy and the department really helped me understand the different roles that pharmacists can play in different settings. And not every single pharmacist has to be a pharmacy owner. And that kind of opened my eyes and allowed me not to just be focused on what I see pharmacy is, but look at other opportunities and other things that pharmacy can do in different settings in the community. And I ended up going to the Albany College of Pharmacy for pharmacy school. The FDA experience was amazing. We got to see the DDMAC, the Division of Drug Marketing and Advertising. We sat a lot on advisory boards that the FDA set up for new medications and new drugs to get them approved. Seeing how the companies present their case, seeing how the scientists, the clinicians, the FDA kind of presented the point, and understanding that the system is there to protect patients and also to reward innovation really solidified my desires to be more involved in the pharmaceutical industry. The Rutgers program had an amazing reputation. I found that the perspective that Rutgers had, where it's not just you do your job and that's it, but the faculty component associated with it, the professional development days that we always had, and bring in different speakers and different perspectives from the industry. And even when the fellows did the presentation at times, it showed that the fellowship is not meant so it sends you on one stream in your life. It's meant so you can learn one stream well, but also to be exposed to multiple streams, because it's really only a stepping stone of what you want to do for the rest of your life. After the fellowship, I decided to move back to Canada. Also at the same time, in Ontario, which is our province here, we were having significant drug reform. And I got involved with my father in trying to understand what's happening and how we can get our voice heard by the people in the government. I found myself writing recommendations on regulations and statutes that were being presented. I found myself in front of a parliamentary committee presenting those recommendations. And we found ourselves finally in front of the health minister, which is a decision maker for these recommendations. And found myself really contributing and making a difference. So this is when I started getting involved with OnPharm. We started off with 70 pharmacies about 3 years ago. We're now over 240 pharmacies. We've been very vocal advocates of independent pharmacists. And for myself, I've been appointed on a few ministry committees and councils to advise the ministry on how to expand the scope of practice and how to be more involved. And very recently, I was elected by my peers to be able to sit on the governing board of pharmacy in Ontario, the Ontario College of Pharmacists. But life is not just about work. Sometimes you do have to step outside the limits, try something new.
Jump out of a plane.
Yeah. From a scavenger hunt in New York City to skydiving.
Get playing Brian a little bit, the guy with the red head right there.
Oh yeah? No,
being with the fellows and going over 10,000 feet and jumping out of a plane in front of Jersey Shore was one of the most exhilarating experiences that I've ever had. My advice to people who'll be looking to the fellowship program:
Rutgers fellowship all the way.
Take the risk, do something different. You'll open doors for yourselves. You'll explore new areas in the industry that you have never known before. And you'll find yourselves participating in projects that might not just help one patient at a time, but you'll be helping thousands of patients through the work that you do when the healthcare professionals rely on the information that you've provided them to help their patients.